I didn't use haste, dude. That time you told me to use haste and then told me to use prelate was the last time I used haste the entire game.
Idiot.
That shit was funny.
Oh, well. Me and Colin got a story.
What did the boss get you at the end? What happened to me
Well, listen.
when you're running away?
It's even funnier than that.
It's disgusting.
Well, let's start this thing before we lose any more content.
We ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Greetings and welcome to the podcast. I'm here with Brad and Colin for Video Game Book Club. The rules are simple. One person picks a game, and you got to beat that game in a month. Then you get to pick the next game for everyone to play once your month comes around. This month was Colin. The name is in the title. I just realized that. We've done like 8 of these. So, yeah, Parasite Eve, story, mitochondria.
We're doing story first.
Again, for the last 3
Dude,
times.
we're mixing it up.
I swear to God, we keep mixing it. I thought it was gameplay.
It's story, gameplay, sound design, opinions, overall score, and then the next game. It's been like that for, I think,
We should do
4
sound
times,
first.
actually. Sound? All right, let's
Then
do sound
story,
first.
then gameplay.
All right, sound. We're starting with sound design. Let's go. What do you guys think of the sound design?
I mean, I like the music. I just felt like I was playing a Final Fantasy game sometimes at some points because of the music.
I didn't like
which makes sense.
There'd be music, and then it'd just be like you'd walk into a room and it's like silent. I wish there was more like ambient instead of nothing, you know?
Yeah, I wish it didn't change it up so much like that, because silent portions can be good in that game for atmosphere, but yeah.
This game has no voice actors and no words spoken. It's all type.
And the opera singing.
Those are not words. That is.
Yeah, no, they are. What do you think opera is, dude?
What did it say?
I don't. You're
And the
Italian. You
language
tell us, dude.
It's not Italian. It was just.
It's Italian opera. You didn't read the lore, the files.
Yeah, the files. But no, it would have been nice with just like a little bit of like the one-liners, you know, like you know, fucking a little bit of that would have helped.
There was some the goop sound effects were good, like on some shit turning goopy. Sounded pretty gross.
Yeah, the FMV fucking sounds were on point.
And the guns sounded okay.
Sound effects were all right. It was decent. The sound design was decent. I did like the ambiance of sometimes there not being music.
When you shoot the baby, it just keeps going wah, wah.
Yeah. Wah.
Oh yeah.
That was a little lame.
No songs in the game like made me upset to hear again, you know? Kind of like in Katamari Damacy where like you would listen to a song and be like, "Oh god, this fucking thing again." There was none of that in this game.
The credit song is a banger.
The first credit song was not. But
No. The second one, yeah. The first one, I don't even know if it's an actual different song.
It was just the fucking music box. Yeah, the menuing sounds were all right. Nothing abrasive. It was mixed all right to the point where like no sounds were like really jumped out and was like,
dude, the hub music is a banger too.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. And just the police officer or office one.
Yeah, that one was pretty good too. Okay, now we can talk about story.
Mitochondria. This is the story of the mitochondria.
You
If
follow
you
the
don't
story
know
of
the
M.
mitochondria.
Digger,
Yeah.
named by Frank over here instead of Aya.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can name your character in this game, and these goobers didn't even
No.
name their character.
At what point
It's
in a
not a
J?
role-playing
Yeah, I know. In a linear JRPG, would I ever rename the character? That's just dumb to me.
They gave you the option.
Yeah, and it was dumb then, and I didn't do it.
Now, I like Dokupon Kingdom, and Dokupon Kingdom has this awesome character named Mitch Digger, and that was my name, M. Digger.
Yeah, but that character's not awesome.
Well, he's awesome when he works.
How many times have you
And
seen him work? Like once?
twice.
Yeah, out of 100
Yeah, he
appearances.
hops out of the ground and he digs a little hole, and it makes your property value go
Yeah,
up.
he sucks.
But it's a woman in the game, so the M stands for Michelle. So yeah. Story is not great. I'm gonna
Well,
be real honest.
context, it's based off a book.
That I did not read.
Yeah. And this is technically like the sequel, sort of, to that book. But, I mean, there's very little context other than it started in Japan and now it's in New York. And that's about it. I'm pretty sure.
The entire IP has poor continuity, which we'll get to.
It's they have the plot point is mildly interesting only because the my biology obviously isn't top notch or up to date, but the whole mitochondria and why it's in the cell is still a mystery as far as I know. Like it's a separate organism that got integrated.
Well, it's the powerhouse, Brad.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, but like the whole point of the mitochondria taking out. Shut the fucking A.
Yeah, no, I get it. I agree with Brad. It's a good idea because like if our mitochondria works against us, we're kind of fucked. They kind of
It was
every
interesting.
time.
Yeah, well, like,
I don't know.
why do you think the story's not good? Because I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's bad either.
They kept honing in. They just kept finding excuses to say mitochondria, and they like you figure out what's happening, like the whole story can be summed up in 3 lines of text, like a paragraph. And they keep dragging it out. And there's so many like plot points that just go nowhere. But the game starts off strong. I think the game starts off really strong, and it just wears out as time goes on.
What
'Cause I
plot
love the
points go
intro.
nowhere? Because I thought the story was pretty concise. Like I didn't feel like it really dragged on. 'Cause it's not
Well,
long.
First off, where's Lorraine? You never see Lorraine.
She died.
Yeah, but Lorraine's in there, you know?
Yeah, she was melted into goo.
Yeah,
I don't.
dude.
You wanted to see the 10 pixel fucking triangle polygon Lorraine and then see her
And-
get melted?
And then, like, some decisions just make no sense. Some of the characters are really one-dimensional.
Well,
And-
you got to realize it probably. I'm just gonna take a gander and say this probably suffers from localization issues. Because you think look back on other games from this era, like Final Fantasy VII, some of the dialogue is really bad. It wasn't translated properly, so I'm not sure how much Parasite suffers from it, but I'm gonna guess at least a little.
I liked, like, I mean, Daniel was their characters were all interesting. Daniel's interesting. Aya's kind of mediocre. She's fine. Maida's super interesting. I think he's hilarious. That is a funny character.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, at the end, and when he gets shoved to the side by the son.
Yeah, I forget his name.
He's-
Yeah, I hated the son. I don't know why he was there. He just breaks into the police station because his dad left him on Christmas. He's wearing his
Well,
little
yeah, Daniel
gold
sucks.
jumpsuit. I liked certain plot points. I liked the police station getting broken into. That was sick. I liked that. And the game has like this weird story beat like side thing that has nothing to do with anything, but like a dude was like semi-racist towards the Japanese doctor, and then he exploded into fire.
Probably one of the funniest moments in the game.
Yeah. The ending was poop.
I don't even mind the ending. It's the fact that I know, at least that's what I've read, is it's basically retconned completely out of existence, which is stupid as hell.
Yeah.
Because if
Look
that
at
was
the
that,
setup.
yeah, if that was the ending and they like built upon it, I would think it's way better.
Why is everybody's eyes suddenly fucking glowing? Never.
Because the mitochondria is rising up, dude. Rise against.
I just don't like that they went back to the opera. I would never go to that fucking opera again. That just makes no fucking sense.
It's a
to me.
return to normalcy, dude.
Yeah, but it immediately was not normal again. I think the opera is the problem. All right.
That's not what that ending was implicating at
I'm just saying,
all.
people go to see that dumb play with the most beautiful woman whose face looks like a frying pan because it's 1998 polygons, and then shit happens every time.
It's not a bad ending though.
No, it's not bad. I just didn't like it. It was just like I don't think they should have went back to the opera. Also, you have a date in the beginning of the game and you never see them
Yeah,
again
because he's
He
a
they're
probably
straight
pussy.
faced.
died.
Yeah, he got gooed up.
He didn't
Like
get gooed up. He ran out.
No, no,
That
no,
was
no, no, no.
stated.
It's safe to assume he got lit on fire like everybody else
Yeah,
did.
yeah, because like fucking Daniel can't even get close to it or he bursts into flames. Like at the fucking the zoo, and then when he jumps out of the helicopter. So that dude definitely just got ignited.
I like that you're a cop, but you don't do a lot of cop shit, and neither do either any of your other cops. Like,
Well, what cop shit is there? Dude, you're fighting a primordial god in a sense.
Or
Or
you want to
try-
kill an unarmed man? Is that?
listen, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying at some point, like there's no holding cells, like, and there's nothing.
There
You
is
never
holding
see any of.
cells.
You never see any of the cops like do anything. They're just standing around,
The
which I guess is cop shit.
the holding cells are when you go into the police station and then you go upstairs and the door is on the right. There's the cells.
Oh, okay.
like, are you expecting like in Raccoon City? Are you expecting RPD to just start arresting zombies or something? Like, you're
I
not
was
doing police shit in
expecting-
Resident Evil.
I was expecting some type of cop shit, you know?
I mean,
Just a little bit of cop shit.
well, because it's less like police and it's more like X-Files. Because it straight up plays like an
Yeah.
X-Files episode, which I think is cool. I just don't even know what cop. What are you supposed to do? Cop shit against a mitochondria fucking like what? I don't understand what cop.
I don't
things you could do.
understand why it's our problem to begin with. We're cops. Let's go arrest people. Let's write some tickets.
All the
Dude, they evacuate the whole city.
yeah, and you're the only person that can save them because you're the only one that doesn't get caught on fire because you
That's
have the
true.
parasite.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, because you got those transplanted
my
kidneys.
kidneys. But I don't know, and it was dull at times. For as high as it got, like, because they kind of blow their load early because they give you this really sick like FMV transformation. You know what my favorite FMV was in the Outside show. The second theater that wasn't actually a theater.
Oh, it's
it was
Central
outside.
Park.
Yeah, Central Park. And then all of those people. That was a sick scene. That was probably my favorite scene of the whole game.
You didn't like the baby crawling on the boat, dude?
We'll get to that later.
You got to look at that objectively.
That'll go through gameplay. Yeah, no, the baby was fine.
Dude,
The
the aircraft
dude
carrier,
throwing what?
or the unnecessary minute and a half long launch of jets and them getting blown up.
Horrible navy.
And-
This game has the worst navy I've ever seen.
They just keep
Get
doing
these-
the same thing over and over again.
Send the
get these-
jets.
There's fighter jets and there's helicopters, and instead of flying above the buildings, they keep weaving in and out of buildings fucking 10 feet from the highway, and it's just so aggravating.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
it's like
Ace
you're a-
Combat.
You're an airplane.
It's the Blue Angels, dude.
Stupid. It's like, oh, I have a thing that can fly tens of thousands of feet in the air. Let's fly 50 feet in the air and weave in and out of
See,
skyscrapers.
to me, that epitomized the U.S. military. They keep just doing the same dumb thing over and over again with the same
Yeah.
result.
And at some point, they're like formation 2, and they get in a straight line, so they all get blasted at once.
That's how that felt like some non-American shit, by the way. Like, there's no suicide formations in the middle. Like, what?
Yeah, that's definitely.
Well,
that's
it was-
definitely. Yeah.
That's not
it
a
was to
thing,
protect
though.
Aya's fucking. Well, no, it's not. But the whole point was so her helicopter could get close without being
But
eviscerated.
that was all pointless, kind of, right? Because it's like you shoot the thing with a missile and then you jump out of the helicopter.
I mean, yeah, I guess it was.
That was the worst part, in my opinion.
You could have just shot the Eve thing that came out of the goo again with a missile.
Yeah, no
Yeah, but
reason.
then we don't have a boss fight.
She just jumps out with her fucking pistol, and it's like you just had rockets.
That was a little dumb. I get why it is like that from like a game aspect, but logically it's really stupid.
And then fucking the dude throwing. First of all, Japanese doctor needs to stop giving me shit.
No, I think that's hilarious that he gives you a bunch of useless things, and then at the end he gives you something that you absolutely need to finish the game. But it won't let you get it until the absolute end, after a dude jumps out of a helicopter on fire.
I like the story much more in concept than in practice. Maybe I just had too high of hopes, because the beginning was so strong. And every time you get in a car, you're going 400 miles an hour, dude.
It was a good story.
Gameplay,
Good.
it is good.
Sorta.
It's pretty good.
It was weird. Didn't play anything like it before.
Yeah. I like the dodge and around and then pause to attack thing. I thought that was really cool.
I like the idea of it. There's just some issues where it's like sometimes where the fights are in really lame areas against enemies that like I don't know how you're supposed to dodge them. It's like you just kind of have to get hit. They're at weird angles or in like really small corridors.
Like the bat, it has a sonic beam, like, and it expands, but you'll have to fight them on like a bridge that's only as wide as the beam, so it's like you can't do anything about it. I think they could have done more with the attacks, because a lot of them like track to where you are at the moment, and I think that's silly. They could have made it more like AoE based.
Well, it's definitely AoE attacks, and those are always a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and a lot of like enemies charge at you, which is all right.
Then there's some super annoying enemies like those bats are just fucking a nuisance.
Yeah.
Get locked in darkness affliction.
Yeah, I literally fled from every bat fight. It just wasn't worth the time. They don't drop anything either.
Except Cure D,
Yeah, so I'm like,
which is their only thing you get.
Completely pointless to fight those, in my opinion.
I didn't even know you could fully, so...
Yeah. Well, that's other things. Some of the menus and like the systems in the game, they do a very bad job at telling you what they do and how to use them.
Well, there is a tutorial in the opening menu.
Oh, I did it, and it's basically useless. It's just four menus, like, here's how you do this and that.
This is a guidebook game. This is a Wikipedia game, because there is so much hidden nonsense.
Yeah, that's JRPGs in the 90s in a nutshell.
Yeah, because it's like you don't know like 80% of the shit. Like you can collect junk. You don't know why you're collecting junk. You can increase how many times you shoot per action, but it doesn't tell you that it lowers the amount of damage it does. You can.
Well, it's trial and error there.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I understand it. Like,
well, and it's
I
just
don't like the ambiguity.
With upgrading with the BP, like you two didn't even know you could upgrade the guns with it.
Nope.
It's
Had
just
no
like
idea.
It's so easy to miss like massively beneficial things just because like nothing's explained and the menus are kind of clunky, especially the inventory. That is a very clunky system with not enough room.
There are too many beginner traps in this game. Too many trial and error things that like will kill you. Most notably the ending. The
I
ending
think
has 4 different pathways that you have to run out of, and if you choose the wrong one at any point, you will have to do the whole ending boss fight again.
I
Um,
didn't really have much of. The only time I died was when I tried to save with the phone in the
oh,
first
that's
room.
what
I
here
I did that as well.
here's what Frank did. Frank got like to the escape sequence probably like his second or third try.
Oh no.
And then he goes to save. I told him not to, and then he does it, and then he gets stuck in the save animation, and he dies. And I'm like, it'd be funny if you didn't get back here for a couple hours. And it proceeds to happen where he can't get past the third form for like 2 hours.
It was disgusting. It was horrible.
It was so funny, but fucking bad, yeah.
But yeah, no, it gives you branching pathways at the very end, and if you choose any of those wrong, you're fucked. Because the
Well,
thing
dude,
moves too fast for you to backtrack.
it gives
You
you the
can't.
fucking diagram. It shows you the layout.
You didn't look it up.
No, I did no, but aside from fucking say like the phone like dying on the phone thing, I all one shot after that.
Well, congratulations. I was told where to go.
Yeah, I gave Frank GPS navigation. 'Cause I know dude, if he died again, he's gonna be so pissed. Because it took him so many tries just to get back to the escape sequence.
Um, to anyone who wants to play this game, get to level 30 because you get this shit called Liberation, and it's the coolest shit in the game. And I think they should have used more transformation spells in this game, because that changed the whole thing completely. Um, I think that if you transform more in the game, I would have liked it more. Um, don't use haste. Haste is garbage.
Haste is really good, dude.
Dude, you can
Haste is
stun lock people
Haste
or
is
stun lock
stupid.
its enemies. Like the pterodactyl in the museum, I just used haste and then just spammed pistol rounds into it and it couldn't even move.
Oh, because with the
Um,
pistol, your thing, by the time you're done shooting, you can keep shooting again.
Yeah, and I'm doing like 40 per pop with a triple one, so it's not including crits.
haste is all right. I just had to hear use haste fucking 90 times. Um, what was it? More gameplay stuff. Yeah, beginner traps. This game will turn into a meat grinder about 75 the way percent through, and it's aggravating. But it's not like a system of randomness. It's specific trigger points that are hidden throughout the level. And if you go and backtrack to a place that you were before, they're in the exact same spot. So if you know where everything is, you can maneuver around and not get hit by any of the enemy triggers, except for the ones that are necessary. Like you can maneuver around them, but
Day 5 sucks. I
day 5 sucks.
That's really bad pacing.
Yeah, and I think day 1 to 3 is great, and then 4 it wanes a little bit, and then 5 is where it just turns into a slog.
But then 6
Hospital
is super
sewers are
short.
fucking.
Um, but yeah, as far as gameplay, I enjoyed it. I thought that a lot of the spells like had their place, but they didn't. It didn't show up as much as it needed to. Like, like it was sick to always have an anti poison. Like that was cool, but you only have an anti poison. You don't have like an anti static. At least not what I got. You know.
Oh, you gotta use haste to counteract that one.
Oh my fucking god, Brad.
No, I'm not even lying, dude. Like, or anything that paralyze or gets you stuck into the ground, you can just use haste.
Yeah, or the cure thing.
I lied. Just keep pressing haste throughout the whole game. You'll be fine.
Honestly, yeah, it's really broken.
But yeah, you get like 20-ish spells, and I only used like 4 of them. The heals,
Detox.
detox. I used
Barrier.
the big shot, but the big shot puts you too vulnerable for enemies in the later game. So use the big shot early on, as soon as you get it, and then just stop using it.
The only thing that's nice, I guess, about Big Shot is you can use it with any amount of meter, no matter what.
Yeah, which is good. You also have Gene Heal, which if you have enough for Gene Heal to be useful, using your heal 3 is better anyway. So just do that because it uses less and it heals for a static amount. The inventory. Let's talk about the inventory. Fuck the inventory. It's a piece of shit. Um, I hate it. I hate the
It's not
inventory.
that bad. Well, I feel like it's designed like that on purpose.
Yeah, and again, with Japanese Doctor, he keeps giving you shit, and you can't get rid of all of it. And even if you can, you have to wait until you go back to the police station to get rid of it, and it's just a huge hassle. I was always fighting against the inventory. Um, the one saving grace is that they give you bullet crates, so your bullets don't take inventory space.
Yeah, it would have been something if you didn't just have it to one spot.
You also get basically infinite ammo.
Yeah, I don't even. It felt kind of pointless to even have that as a
Yes, yeah. It's
like
like,
resource.
why even have the ammo to begin? Because once you get to day 5 in the museum, everything drops like 15 to 30 ammo.
Yeah.
And the melee weapons are just god
You
awful.
can't
So
even. A melee only run would be crazy in this game.
I tried using the Club 3 and it's just bad. It's like you're always in darkness.
Yeah, you just miss everything. And
you
some
gotta be so
enemies move so
close.
fast you can't even hit them. By the time you go to target them, they're already on the other side of the screen.
Yeah, I think it's weird that everything takes just 9 mil bullets, like rocket launchers take 9 mil bullets, but in future games of Parasite Eve, that is not the case. Because I looked into that. I like the crafting system in the game a lot, because you can just keep like daisy chaining your upgrades that you get from each weapon onto the next weapon. And I like that a lot.
I just wish you got more super tools, because I guess a lot of them are RNG, because
I
tools can
got
randomly be
0.
super tools.
Yeah, I got none.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't think I got a single super tool.
I think there's a couple that are like actually in chest, but any other time it's just like a tool can randomly be a super tool that you pick up. And I'm sure an enemy drops a super tool probably randomly.
Special keys, like things you need to open in certain levels, they don't exit your inventory when you're done with them, so you got to carry those around until you get to the police
Except in that
station.
one
Except
part.
later on,
Yeah,
Yeah.
except
the
one. Except
hospital.
one. Yeah.
All the keys in the hospital disappear after you use them, which is bullshit, because that's how it should be with all the keys.
Yeah, it's like they decide to just implement that in. It's like, oh, we fucked up. Better put this in now.
Oh, you know what it is? It's because you can go back to the other areas, but the hospital explodes.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably why. That kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, but if still, if you unlock everything, then
Yeah.
I guess maybe we did unlock everything
The
in those
keys
areas.
the
And,
keys should just not take up your main inventory. It's a pain in the
well, that
ass.
too.
There's a lot of tropes in this game, a lot of like gameplay tropes. Like there's the sewer levels, not one but 2 sewer levels. There's turn on the power levels. There's the obvious like go to this part of the area to get the key to unlock this part of the area levels. It's like it's pretty stock when it comes to like level design and main objective.
The
But
encounter
again,
rate's
it's
not too bad though.
yeah, no, it's reasonable. Right up until the museum, cause fuck the museum.
That level's just too long, so you just end up running into the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
And getting lost. I didn't know you had to. I didn't notice the fucking door ajar for the. Actually, I looked that one up.
It's just
You
so
gotta go into
yeah.
the lab. I'm like, what? Come on.
The slightly opened door on the slightly blurry background.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to
Oh.
get back into the T-Rex area, or the
I was-
area where the T-Rex
I was
was.
waiting for Frank to talk about this, the fucking interacting with shit.
Interacting with shit is garbage. Okay, first of all, you don't know what's interactable, and you'll find out if you play this game really simple. I'm gonna give you guys a fucking hot tip. Okay, so this is just prime example of fucking bad interactability. So you have to get a key to open up a double door at the end of a hallway in the movie theater. Okay, and the key is in a diary that's on a table in front of a mirror. And I do like that there's mirrors in this game because there's games in 2020 that don't have mirrors. So good on this game for having a fucking mirror. Um, real feat of ingenuity. But not only does everything in the background look blurry as fuck, and the only way you know when to save is like this glowing red like light, but you have to be pinpoint, pixel perfect accurate when trying to open some shit. And some things are in like dresser drawers and lockers and shit, and you don't know what's interactable, so you got to butt fuck the wall all around the like each level. And then there's hidden shit. Like they'll hide crates behind like doors that are ajar and falling over shit. And but yeah, no. So you gotta get this fucking key that's in a diary. And if your inventory's full, you gotta reread the diary and fucking pick the key up again. Why is the key in the diary? I don't know, but it's there. Um, so yeah, interactables are bad on all fronts. One, you don't know what you can interact with, and two, you might just try to interact with something and then you just like weren't at the specific spot that they wanted you to interact with. Um, Another prime example at the zoo. There is one room with some drawers in it and a safe space, and I clicked the drawer. The drawer and me were parallel, and I clicked it, and nothing happened. And then I look it up, and sure enough, you had to click that drawer in that specific spot. So yeah, interacting things are horrible, absolutely horrible.
I had the same problem with the zoo, and it's funny because I was watching Dave play, and he went in that room and looked around for shit and couldn't find anything, and I had to tell him, like, yeah, the key's in there, because you're going to run around going, where the fuck's the key? And you already know what's in that room.
Yeah, and I can't imagine, like, again, internet in a lot of ways, like, downfall of society and blah, blah, blah. The internet for playing games, amazing. Amazing. Because if I had to play this game in 1998, it would never get done. It would be like a 400-hour game.
I've always,
Well, it's like
that's a weird argument
different.
too. Like, is that the, does that make you like, does it ruin the game having a guide, you know?
Absolutely not. The game
Depends on the
being
game.
ambiguous
Yeah.
enough to need a guide ruins the game.
But it's like somebody did beat this game without a guide.
Then they're better game. Imagine playing Superman 64 without a guide.
You could.
Under what fucking in what universe?
I mean, somebody beat it without a guide. Maybe.
If
Well, maybe not. Maybe
I
not.
don't think so, dude. I really don't.
Yeah, I think these old games need guides. Like Secret of Mana. I don't know how you would beat that without a guide.
Literally try everything.
There's just like, it's so badly translated.
Yeah, that's the worst of it.
But I
Yeah.
like it's kind of a weird thing for me because I'd rather have to look something up than to have something with like a big glowing blinking arrow that's telling me exactly where to go. Like I don't want to be handheld too much. I want to like get that dopamine rush of being able to figure something out on my own.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your like bullshit ass design of having to be pinpoint accurate of clicking the exact spot that you need to like interact with something, that I'm good on that. Um, but the crafting system's decent.
The game's pretty easy too. Like it's really not that hard.
Yeah, every time
Yeah,
that
combat.
yeah, I agree because I always had a difficult time saying like, oh, this is a difficulty spike. It's like it's not. It's just like an encounter rate spike and beginner traps. A lot of it is beginner traps. It's like, oh, shouldn't have done that. Time to go back half an hour.
I thought this game has a pretty good final boss too.
Yeah.
Because usually JRPGs like they'll be super sick, and then you play the final boss, and it's either lame or just super easy. But this one felt pretty good.
They double up, and I do not like that. Very often they would double up a mini boss right into a big boss, and that is just to drain your resources and pad out the game, and I hated that. Um, Examples are the big polar bear into the worms for the zoo level. the Triceratops into the T-Rex into the museum level, and then the final boss.
At least they were all unique encounters or enemies, not just like reskins.
Yes,
At least.
actually that deserves praise. That deserves big praise because there is a shit ton of enemies in this game.
I think there's only 2 reskins. There's like red and green snakes, and there's
The when you drain the slot or the glob out of the sewage,
oh
it's reskin of the first boss,
yeah,
and
but
that's it.
yeah,
I think.
I'm sure there's one more too, but yeah, it's very little. Like every like new chapter or day, you're fighting completely new enemies, which is fun.
Yeah, and they will like throw a mini boss at you, and then they become like a basic enemy, which I always like in that. It's like, oh no, because it shows progression, you know.
Yeah.
Even if they tweak the stats a little bit to make it seem like you're progressing more than you actually are, it's still a good gameplay design.
Which boss did you hate the most? Not the final boss.
Uh,
Oh yeah, you hated the
the centipede.
yeah.
The centipede can suck all of the cocks in all of existence. I hated that centipede so much.
I hated the spider, dude. I think that's the only boss I died on. Maybe another one, but that one I think I had to do 2 times just because I'd get stun locked by the web.
Yeah, no,
That was annoying.
I was genuinely thinking, man, this game's too easy, and then the museum level happened. But no, the spider I ran through one time. The centipede is when I hit a brick wall. The centipede was because it breaks apart and it has a billion health and then like when they break apart into 4s, like
And you
splits
target
into
the one, and then you go to shoot it, and you're missing now because it moved
yeah, 'cause
out of
it's
your thing.
jumping, and then like if all 4 of them are on screen, you can't dodge all of their attacks, so you are taking damage. Like that was a turning point.
Yeah, I really didn't want to die. I almost died on it, dude. Don't want to redo this.
Yeah, it's the worst when it's like you haven't saved in a while, and then you get to the boss, and it's not going well.
Like, yeah, because sometimes you don't even know when you're gonna run into a boss. Like with the worms, that one is completely random.
Yeah.
It just fucking.
The worms was one of my favorite because it's like whack-a-mole, dude. Just keep hitting the worm. It popped up, hit it.
I remember I was watching Dave do it. He was trying to do it without healing. I'm like, dude, why?
Dave
He
does that.
loves
Dave,
I know.
self-imposed handicaps.
Dave is like, I'm not gonna save or use any of my healing abilities, and if I die, well, I guess she didn't make
I was
it
just
that
like,
time.
just heal before the fight at least, and then he did, and I think he
Yeah.
won.
No, Dave likes being a jobber.
It's a way to do it.
So yeah, great amount of enemies, decent combat. If that combat refined would be awesome because it's kind of like Xenoblade, but Xenoblade you can't really dodge the attacks. It's more of like run away until you're outside of the range of the attacks that can like hit.
Yeah, I think Vagrant Story has pretty much the same, but more in depth. I think Final Fantasy 12 is kind of similar too, in a way.
FF12 is weird. At least the first original, not Zodiac Age.
I think what makes Parasite Eve unique too is like its guns. Like you're not using like fireball spells and swords and shit,
Yeah.
which is cool. I like the different setting for the genre because a lot of the games are all the same. It's like high fantasy shit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it reminded me a little bit of Tales, but without a party. Sometimes it reminded me of Xenoblade. It's unique enough to where it's like in its own right. I don't know if it's the first game that did that type of that type of what do you call it, combat system. But if it is, then really good on them. I wish this was like a mainstay franchise. I wish this was like a Final Fantasy type thing.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed that it's retconned into oblivion. I do kind of want to play the other 2 though.
I was looking at both of them, and they don't look as good, but I guess they're worth playing.
I
I would give them a
I
try.
like the characters and setting though. 'Cause it's like
They,
I would
they were
hope
kind of
that,
nothing.
but I hope like 2 and 3 would like expand a little bit more on some of the shit, you know? Because this game's super surface level.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I wish the main character was fleshed out just a little bit more. And the supporting cast, aside from the Japanese doctor, was kind of they were just all like stereotypes. Like I am bad, I am good, I am surprised, I am the
Daniel is just the
surprise
cop from
character.
Die Hard, dude.
Daniel was rah, rah,
Lorraine,
every fucking 2 seconds.
Lorraine. But then he jumps out of the helicopter on fire, dude. Badass.
That was something.
If
Also
only
Thought
he
he
dumb.
died.
He should have died.
Um, the mitochondria, though. That's the one thing you got to get out of this game is that the mitochondria exists.
That was a little much with the. I did feel like they kept just explaining this thing they explained like an hour into the game. They just did
Yeah.
that for 10 hours.
Over and
There's
over
way
again.
much rehashing.
And then they added immunosuppressants, dude, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is such a good word. Let's just keep saying immunosuppressants."
When you fight Eve for the final time, it's just so funny. It's like, yeah, we rose up because we're the mitochondria, and Aya's like, what? I'm like, you knew this. This isn't new. What about the true ending?
That shit is dumb.
I agree.
Cause like the true ending is like you get the bad part out of you, like the shadow link, you get it out of you, which I don't want because the best liberate uses the bad part of you, so I want to keep that, you know.
And just the way you have to get the true ending is ridiculous.
But watching them play like to the true ending, like I watched a little bit of that, probably like 10-15 minutes. It looks fucking sick.
Yeah, well, because you're a god. You have such an
Yeah.
absurd gun. It's like, oh, it's a fully auto gun that has every crazy thing equipped in it, and it hits like 700 per shot.
Yeah. And then you use your blast thing because you could do your like full clip into the blast thing and it does like 7 grand.
Yeah, and your AT meter's recharging in like 1 second, so you're just constantly doing stuff.
Yeah. If there was like a little heavier like progression curve and you became like just a little bit more of that instead of having to wait till New Game Plus, I think that would have been really well for the game because I felt like I was the same like level from level 0 to level 20. The only thing that got better was my heal.
It's like good and bad because that means the difficulty curve's like perfect. But yeah, you also never feel like a god, but you never really feel weak as fuck either.
And then the progression system is kind of like it's kind of cheeks, dude, because like you get like 10 stats and you can only upgrade 2 of them and then the rest are like you upgrade your gun for some reason. Like I don't get that. I don't get upgrading your gun through level progression. But
And to me, that's the best thing to do because I just made an absurd gun.
oh yeah, again, had I known that, and I also wasted some of my gun crafting. I think I wasted 12 points of power. But yeah, no, in this game you're able to upgrade a gun and then you can transfer all of those upgrades and you could just daisy chain throughout the whole game. So you have a gun that's shooting like hundos just off of like bonus.
And I didn't even know about any of that stuff till like day 5. I didn't know about BP. I didn't understand how I had to look up tools because I didn't like, what do these do?
Yeah.
So I was completely behind.
Yeah, you were probably in a
Overpowered.
bad spot.
The only thing that was bad is I was running really low on ammo. Probably because I was so weak and doing no damage, so I had to use so much ammo.
Yeah.
But after that, I had like 500 shots, and I was a god, so.
It's a game I'm glad I played. I don't feel like it overstayed its welcome, but it kind of like stopped, like it lost its It was never as good as its first impression for me.
Well, it's like dated and flawed, but it still holds up enough to be playable.
Yeah, definitely playable. Like I would suggest this game.
I think this is
Uh,
more playable than Fallout.
with a guy. Well, yeah, they came out the same year. That's another thing. It's because Fallout
Definitely
is like,
easier.
it, I mean, Fallout like it's not linear, but it's less, but it's more. It's weird. Fallout's weird.
Oh, you can play this game without a guide. No fucking way can you play Fallout without a guide.
No.
Hell no, dude. I mean, you could. No, you can't. Not with our ADD brains in modern day. There's no way.
Well, this game would also be difficult without a guide, but I feel like the only difficult part would be like figuring out where the keys are.
And this game will take like 15 hours, I bet, without a guide, just because you'll be lost for so long. Fallout would
Yeah.
take 400 hours, and it's a 3-hour game.
Yeah. Opinions.
It's good.
It's decent.
It's not as
Yeah, I
good as
liked it.
people, because I always read online. It's like one of the greatest JRPGs of the 90s or whatever. It's like, it's good. I don't know if it's that good, but it's good.
Greatest JRPGs when Pokemon came out? No.
I think it's more interesting than Pokemon, dude.
Yeah, but Pokemon's way more playable. Like, you give me any Pokemon game, like,
I yeah, because the game's simple as hell.
yeah, it's just like, I don't know. For some reason, like, Pokemon doesn't even seem like a turn-based tactic game. It seems like just Pokemon. It's like a completely different thing.
I'm more comparing like
Uh,
Final Fantasy VII and Chrono Cross, like those,
oh yeah, no, that Final Fantasy that came out in the '90s, didn't it?
yeah, like all those Square 90s PS1 games, which there's a
Yeah,
million of
fucking
them.
Dra-
Yeah, Legend
But
of Dragoon, Dragon Quest.
yeah, I think it's good. Again, I'm grading it on a curve as well because it's old, and all of the shit that's like stereotypical probably wasn't stereotypical back then.
I mean, the FMVs still look good in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I was looking forward to it every time a new like cutscene would play.
The only one that I remember that was like, okay, that was corny, is like when the helicopter explodes when it shoots like the semen looking beam at it. It looks like a cheesy ass like YouTube explosion.
Yeah.
What's your
Um,
opinion on it, Brad?
Masterpiece for its time. Unique,
Masterpiece.
I guess I should say. It, in the sense that it tried to branch out from the high fantasy of what Square was doing at the time.
Yeah, I see why
It was
people like love it.
it was definitely a risk they took fucking developing it. It's a. Are we gonna give our scores for it? I'm guessing now.
Yeah, you can give your score.
All right, it's a solid. It's a solid 3 for me.
3. Yeah, I'd say 3. Kind of leaning 2.5, but I think it's a 3. Definitely worth playing.
That's where I'm at. 2.5. It is better than Bug Fables, and it is not nearly as good as other games we've played. But that being said, it's definitely I think it's reached classic status. It's a classic game. It's like a gold star 2.5.
Yeah, 'cause I could
Oh,
see why someone would play this when they were a kid and be like, "This is one of the sickest games I've ever played." You know, like that nostalgia
yeah.
for it. I could easily see it.
And it's
Oh yeah,
rooted
one
in
of the
just enough
first.
reality to be like to let it warrant all the fuck shit that happens.
Yeah, it's not too absurd.
Um, but yeah, 2.5. Final thoughts.
Play it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's only like 9 hours, not even.
Yeah, no, it is less than 9 hours. I would have beaten it in 8 had it not been for the final chase sequence that insta
Yeah, I
dies
think
me
it. I think
in
it took
stage
you like
4.
12 technically with all your deaths.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but yeah, no, it was again, if you're gonna play the game, there's beginner traps. Look out for them. Have a guide handy if you get lost. Don't play it more than you want to, and save often. Those are my 4 things to say about it.
Brad's turn to pick the game. Uh-oh.
All right. Take a gander at it. Fucking floating islands and flying things with wings. What do you think?
Fly
It
for
is.
fun online.
BioShock Infinite.
Well, no, it's a game you're going to hate, Frank.
We don't
All
know
right.
that yet.
Although not even close, but underappreciated classic, Bahamut Lagoon.
Oh.
What?
Bahamut Lagoon, dude. The classic, never released in America, Super Nintendo JRPG.
Tactics RPG, more like a Fire Emblem.
This is a 30-hour game.
Yeah, it's not that long. This is going to be something, dude.
What the fuck is this?
This is,
How are we
It's-
gonna play
It's
this?
a wild game. There's a fan patch,
yeah.
which is actually really good.
Oh, that's the start of a good game. Fan patch.
30 hours.
I'm excited. I'll be fine.
This is a game Brad has always wanted to play, but he's only played like briefly.
Yeah.
It's for the SNES.
Technically the Super Famicom, since it never came out in America.
Oh,
It got
this
those
looks like
updated
fucking-
graphics.
This looks like a trip.
What do you mean, dude?
This is gonna be a good podcast. Tune in next month for this, cause is there English? We got English coming to us.
What do you mean? There's a fan translation, dude.
All right.
I'm assuming we're gonna need a guide for this one.
I mean, you really shouldn't, unless you get stuck. Like, it's all it is just battle after battle, you know? There's no dungeon crawling or anything, so.
Dude, this looks.
Although you may want a guide, because you can, there's a system of feeding feeding your dragons and stuff, so if you want to optimize that, I'd imagine you need a guide.
You got Frank flabbergasted, dude.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. This shit looks like Ultima 1.
He's like, we just keep getting older and older with the games. You know what's
I'm
funny?
gonna keep picking new shitty games. That's what's
hold
gonna
on,
happen.
hold on. This came out 1 year before Parasite Eve.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it's end of life SNES game.
I'm
It's
gonna
got
make you
beautiful.
guys make you guys play fucking Threads of Fate, dude.
That's
The only reason I haven't picked Threads of Fate is because I don't want to play Threads of Fate.
You should play a game you want to play. Or pick
that,
one, I mean.
that always ends bad for him.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
The Bahamut
All right.
Lagoon.
Yeah. No. But Bahamut Lagoon. Tune in next month.
Gonna be a great one.